It's showtime, folks. Welcome in. Chasing Big Joe live on Broadway at the Mellow Mushroom, high atop the roof, on the rooftop, I guess is probably the best way, overlooking Bridgestone Arena. The SEC men's basketball tournament is in town, and excited to be here today. Of course, I got to turn that down. So, Joe, what's up?
Oh, man, what are you up to today?
Oh,
You're already getting out of here.
living
Take care,
the
Chase. Chase is out of here already. This is now the Big Joe show. No, it's
I'm
good.
here.
It's
I'm here. I'm
beautiful.
here.
But on the stream, people can't see. People already asking, where did you go on the stream? He's here, folks. Chase
I'm
is here.
Don't worry.
No, the tournament's in town. We're live at Mellow Mushroom on Broadway. Great atmosphere already. The sunshine is out. It's a beautiful day, and everybody's welcome to come down and hang out. When you leave the games, come over to Mellow Mushroom. Come over and say hi to Chase. He's in a good mood today. Did you take your medicine this morning?
I don't take any medicine.
Do you take sunshine, baby?
I do. I do take sunshine.
So he's good to go.
Yeah.
Flintstone
I'm
vitamins.
good. Yes. Yeah. Just like you, Dr. Crane.
Yep.
Flintstone vitamins. No, we're good. We're excited to be here. Mellow Mushroom is our home for the day. We will be here until 6 o'clock. And look, Vanderbilt plays. Their coverage begins at 2 o'clock. They play this afternoon. Jared will be here. We'll have the games on. They got a big TV set up. And so he'll be doing some cut-ins with that. But, Vandy will kind of take the coverage this afternoon. You can hear that on 102.5 The Game in the SEC tournament. But we're excited to be here all day long and appreciate them for having us as we are going hot and heavy with the SEC coverage. Obviously, we'll continue to talk free agency and all of those things, but us being down here, we'll be talking a lot of SEC. And so really looking forward to that. And all of our sponsors, our coverage presented by Toyota, Guinness, thenewcumberland.com, Volunteer Hose and Gasket, and Sloan's Motorcycle ATV.
That the New Cumberland is nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
It is very nice. So thenewcumberland.com is where you go for that. But also excited about everything else. So Van Jefferson to the Titans. Per reports,
bringing the Ravenwood guy back home. Good guy. He's regressed in his career since winning the Super Bowl with the Rams in 21. If you had NWI or Van Jefferson, why would you let NWI go? You couldn't match that. All the guy does is, give you everything he has. Undrafted guy, so he's happy to be here. I mean, they gave him the chance, but they let him walk and go to the Dolphins. To me, that's the biggest head scratcher. Now they got no receivers. Yeah. You got Ridley. Now you got Jefferson, who again is regressing. Why could you not sign NWI? He didn't want $50 million a year. That guy would have gone to the back parking lot and broke rocks for you all day. Just a good dude, man. And now you're letting him go. I just don't know. But I'm look. Until I get the Aaron Rodgers news, I'm good. I am good. When I found out he's gone, and then they're going to run it back this year with Will Levis and Cam Ward and whomever else, then I'm done, man. I'm out. I'm out on this. Can't do it.
I don't think you're going to get the Aaron Rodgers news.
Why do you look,
man? I'm your friend. I'm not going to BS you. I'm here to be honest with you.
I am 56. All right. I've always said,
you're like a day over 51.
Thank you. That might be the nicest thing you've ever said. I've always said I won't make it past 64. All right. So I've got 8 years left.
Okay.
Don't rain on my parade today. Just give me the hope until I know there's no more hope.
I want to be honest with you. I don't want to sugarcoat things. It's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, but it's not happened.
No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So just give it to me. Let me have the chaos and let's have fun with this. Honestly, if they don't sign him, what are they going to do? Is it Mac Jones?
Guys, I think it might be Will Levis.
How can you bring him back?
I don't know.
How can you bring him back?
I mean, look, I have been trying to talk myself into I'm just going to kind of take it day by day, and as Ken Wisenhunt used to say, trust the process.
Don't say that.
But I'm not so sure about the process.
I don't know. After what you saw, it's like if my son, when he's 5 years old, if he spills paint in his room, right, for 6 months in a row, and I'm like, well, I'm going to give him another chance to spill paint again, and he spills paint. I blame me. Blame me for that. How can they possibly bring back Will Levis and think he's going to be the answer again? I mean, I already think Callahan's a terrible head coach anyway, so this probably just fits right into what's going on. And I really don't think Callahan's back when we roll around in January next year. I think he's in way over his head. Don't know what he's doing, and you're going to run back Will Levis. Now, is that his decision? I don't, or Bergonzi or Brinker or one of those nerd analytic guys over there? I don't know, but it's bad. It's bad optics. It's a bad franchise, a bad owner, bad from top to bottom.
Well, and I mean, again, I kind of said this the other day. My thought is that at this point, I think everybody needs to kind of embrace the fact that they're not going to be good again. And
listen what you just said.
I know. They're not going to be good again.
Right.
Embrace it.
Man.
And, you can sit here and go, well, look, they've been crap for the last 3 years. Why should we be patient? Their spin, I'm not saying this is mine. I'm saying their spin is going to be, well, this group just got here. We just hired Brian Callahan last year. We just hired Mike Bergonzi. Rand was the problem. He's gone now. Now we got to fix this the right way, and you have to be patient while we fix it the right way. Now, the question is, has Amy agreed to that, and is she going to continue to agree to that, or is she going to do like she's basically done and put them in this mess and change her mind after 6 months?
It's a great question.
Because, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what Jared thinks. It doesn't matter what Woody over here thinks. It doesn't matter what season ticket holders think. It matters what Amy Adams Strunk thinks.
Yeah.
And if she's like, it wasn't done right, so you guys do it right, and I trust you, and I'm gonna back off. If she actually does that, then we'll see. But I don't think she can do that, because she's shown us that she thinks she's on board with a plan, and then after 6 months, it's like, changed my mind, you're fired.
Oh, yeah. They probably called her this morning and said, hey, Amy, we're going to sign Van Jefferson.
And she probably went, who?
She's like, what do we need a van for? We already moved up there.
How much is it going to cost us?
We already moved up there in 1997, and that cost Daddy a lot. That cost Didi a lot of money. So I don't know what we're going to do about that and go on. I don't know. It's just look, they got the left tackle. That's great. You move Latham over to right tackle. That's great. I mean, so there's a few things working here, but until you get the guy behind center, and I tell you, if they draft Cam Ward first and they have Mac Jones or Will Levis, Cam Ward is your starting quarterback in September. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. So who knows? But I thought by now we'd have something on the quarterback front for this team. I mean, there's not many left out there. And I just want to see this. I don't know why they just don't go for it, man. Just let it happen and go. And until then, that's what I'm on pins and needles for.
But do you truly believe that even if they signed Aaron Rodgers, that with this crap roster that they have right now, that he could actually do something with it?
You're missing the point.
I get it. People talk about him and all. Nobody's talking about him. But, do you want him talking about a trash team? He's got, who's he throwing the ball to?
Calvin Ridley, pal.
Okay.
God,
who else?
That guy named Chig.
Who else?
I heard somebody say Bryce Oliver.
Sure.
I think he was my fraternity chairman.
Yeah.
Same name.
Right. And then Van Jefferson.
Van Jefferson.
I mean, yeah, that's just a ragtag group right there.
Right. So there's no pressure on him. There's no pressure on Aaron Rodgers. I'm telling you, you see him in that two-tone blue number. What we're not giving him 12, right? Did we discuss that already? Oh, he can't be 8.
He'd be, yeah. Well, he could be. No, we're giving him 12. We're not giving him
12.
8 or 10.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
8 or 10 are done.
Okay,
for receivers and quarterbacks.
So he can have his 12 back and just come over and fling it, man. Fling it. And look, what about Brian Callahan on this part of it? You're giving him Will Levis. Does he not go in and say, look, I don't want Will Levis. Give me something better because I'm not going to be here in January. If you give me Will Levis, I'm not going to be here in January. You're setting me up for failure.
Right.
Go in and fight for your job. Just awful.
615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We are up and running from Mellow Mushroom on Broadway. We're right next to Bridgestone Arena. So as you come downtown, you're getting ready to go to the games today, come by and say hello. We'll be here all day long, not only with our show, but with DVD and with Stillman and company doing some cut-ins during the Vanderbilt game as well here for the SEC. It's Chasing Big Joe on this Wednesday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. It is a blue, clear sky, that is for sure. Chase McCabe,
beautiful.
Big Joe Dubin with you. Is you bumped into the camera over there, just bumping things around.
What happened?
I don't know. You knocked it off a little bit. That's
No, I
okay.
moved over because get my computer up.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you did there.
But
That's good.
Dr. Crane, I can't see that far.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're
All
fine.
right.
You're good,
Yeah,
Joe.
We got it. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
How are you, Dr. Crane?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. This is
Good.
a good week for me because just trying to change positivity into the week. That's it. This is
Okay.
been a rough week the last couple of years, but this week particularly, I've been working out extra, and it's kind of got me in a better mood.
Well, good. Glad to hear that.
That's very good, man.
Yeah. You know what? You always put us in a good mood, so we appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Likewise.
615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Again, we are at Mellow Mushroom on Broadway today. Here's what's weird. They have a Woody from Toy Story, like life-size stand up, and he's just staring at us right now. And
He's like 6'5".
he is.
And
He's
then
like my
over
height.
your left shoulder is a cutout that looks, it's Alan Jackson.
It is Alan Jackson, yeah.
But if
Hello,
you
Alan.
walk up, it looks like Alan Jackson sitting at his bar looking at us.
Yes. Yeah, and I yeah, that's
Do you know his
so,
family? Text him.
I don't really know them anymore. I used to
Okay.
a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
All right.
So but yes, and Dr. Crane is back at the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. So the SEC tournament will go on today, but I guess the question, we're talking about quarterbacks. You want Aaron Rodgers to be here.
Mhm.
I unfortunately for you, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
They signed Xavier Woods yesterday, not the WWE superstar, but the safety. So I mean, this is their plan. They're nickel and diming things. That's what they're doing.
Who was the Jamal Adams, right? Was that the safety they signed last year that was terrible?
Yes.
All
The
right.
hurt guy.
Didn't they have somebody else that came in too?
Can you turn your computer down, please?
Oh, is it on?
I hear something.
Oh,
Maybe it's
I
the
don't
phone.
know what's
I
going
don't know.
on, man.
Talk
Talk
yeah,
amongst
it was
yourselves.
Jamal Adams was pretty bad.
Thought they signed another.
They the other guy from the Seahawks that he was okay, Quentin Diggs.
Yeah.
he ended up getting hurt.
How did you hear that?
You're
like the
I
bonnet
don't know, I
man.
still hear it. It might be that thing.
Mine's muted.
Don't
I
forget
think
the
it
Titans
is.
also signed Sadiq Charles last year and went to retirement, and now is out of retirement.
Now he's
So-
unretired. What does that say about your franchise? Guy hates you that much, retires, and then when his contract's done, he unretires so he can keep playing.
He's like, my bad.
I changed my
man."
mind, my will to play.
I don't know, but they've just shown that they can't bring people in for anything. So again, bring me the chaos and let Aaron Rodgers run this team. Go. Be a man. Yeah, right?
Exactly.
Be a man.
But I mean, they're showing you with these signings that they're not interested in that. They're not interested in being good.
I know I don't want to bring up today. I completely forgot about it. You know how much I love Brett Kern, but I don't like punters.
Yeah.
So this whole
Johnny Hecker.
Stonehouse goodbye and Johnny Hecker coming in, I it's just Stonehouse is a great punter, right? We've talked about how he outkicks his coverage all the time and can't pin things, and then Johnny Hecker is rolling in here for the Bear. I just don't. I didn't know that was a priority, but I guess it is, right? I don't. am I
Well,
missing something?
Look, if you're John Fossil and you're coming in to fix special teams because it was in such disarray, what do you want to bring in? Somebody you know? And that's Johnny Hecker. That was the punter with the Rams. Jeff Fisher was telling us, I can't remember if this was on the air or off the air, but talking about Bones Fossil, and that they had Johnny Hecker, as their punter, and some of the things he could do. I mean, it makes sense because he wants to bring in guys that can be like, hey, this is how we're going to do things with the special team unit. And look, I liked Ryan Stonehouse, and Brett and I talked about him a little bit, but he struggled last year. All the special teams did, but he struggled especially. Like he just, you could tell that he wasn't quite the same since the injury. And so even though they've gone older, they're going cheaper at the punter position. I kind of thought there might be a competition. There still might be one. They might bring in somebody else and actually have a competition, but Ryan Stonehouse, at least right now, will not be a part of that.
That's something. Johnny Hecker. What the heck?
Yeah, you'll be saying that.
What the heck? So I guess get your guy in there and that. And can we stop the narrative about how special teams is a third part of the game? It's not. It's not a third part of the game. You punt 5-6 times a game. You kick off a couple times. It's 8 or 9. When you run 55 to 60 plays, it's not a third of the game. It's important, yes, okay, but it's not a third part of the game that goes on there. And you get a kicker. It's just the whole punting thing is just like. Blah.
So wait, you have a problem that, like they say, the 3 phases that it being
Absolutely.
a phase?
No. It's part of the game, but say it's a third of the game in that context. I got a problem
But
with
people, I think most people are referring to it as the third phase.
But some do.
Because there's 3 phases. There's the offense, defense, and special teams.
But to me, it's not on the equal level of an offense and defense. That's
No,
what I'm just
I've
saying
never
about that.
took it. I've never taken it.
Now, the analytic nerds will be like, oh, it's this and that. No, it's not, man.
I think it's a lot more important than some people give it credit for, and I think Titans fans have learned that the hard way the last few years.
Because what they've done is they've oversimplified the punting and the kicking. It's evident in college. Just punt the ball. Punt it far and high. That's it. And run down the field and tackle the guy. My God, is it harder than that? It's not. And I don't know why. And that's something else, too. It's like, well, we're going to set it for the return. Punters are so good now that they punt so far down the field that your return can't get down there. I'm always like, go after the punter. Send 10 guys after the punter. Block the ball. Don't set up for some return when the guy's going to kick it so high in the air. All you get is a fair catch out of that. You get that anyway. Now, you see, man, it's supposed to be a beautiful day. Now you've got me a little on the edge.
Look, I mean, I'm just.
What the heck, man?
We're just talking, man. I see what you did there.
What the heck?
Do you feel better after doing that?
I don't. I feel much better when we get news comes down from Adam Schefter that they've signed Aaron Rodgers. Oh, show. Do you think it's odd that Rodgers hasn't signed anywhere yet?
Well, no, because technically he hadn't been released yet. I think he's being released today
Oh, okay.
because they're doing that post June 1st designation.
All right.
So no, I mean technically I think this is probably right.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, no, I mean the I guess the latest thing with the Titans is Van Jefferson, which cool story, but you know.
Does that excite you?
No.
I'm curious. Does it say what they paid him?
I'm trying to pull that up.
2.5 million.
2.5. There you go.
Okay, but you couldn't keep NWI. All right, got that.
It is funny. So DeAndre Hopkins signs with Baltimore, right?
Yep.
5 years ago, February 2nd, 2020, on his, I guess, Instagram or Twitter, he posts a picture that says, how many TDs would this trio total? It's him, Lamar Jackson, and Derrick Henry. Well, and now they're playing together.
2 of those would do pretty good, but when the one guy who tweets that out, who quit on his football team.
Yep.
He quit on the Titans. He's a quitter. He quit on the team. And don't come here and say he's Hall of Fame because he's not getting the Hall of Fame. If Derek Mason's not in the Hall of Fame, DeAndre Hopkins sure as hell don't belong in the Hall of Fame. Guy quit on his team. He can tweet it all he wants. The Chiefs, he got as much playing time with the Chiefs as we did.
Yeah.
Terrible. He can talk
he scored
about
in the Super Bowl.
I don't care. They were already out of the game by then. You scored on Broadway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah. Same thing.
I don't know if I go that far. More strikeouts than anything.
All right, though,
Back
man.
in my day.
You stepped up to the plate. That's all that mattered.
I did. Broadway's undefeated. Just
Our
so you
show.
never forget that. Never forget that. So, you know, Jared goes on this whole diatribe that the cap is fake. I don't think it's necessarily fake, but it's easily manipulated, right?
Yeah.
The Chiefs are the kings of this. They have once again restructured the contract of quarterback Patrick Mahomes and defensive tackle Chris Jones, creating $49.446 million in cap space.
Wow. Well, you know, he's doing what Brady did with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Just went out and
He's still getting money.
Yeah.
He's still getting the same amount. It's just you're moving the numbers around to manipulate the cap.
well, they need another. They let their one lineman go. Center to the Bears. They signed Trey Smith. So
Well, he's on a franchise tag.
okay, yeah, they hope to get a long-term deal with him at some point. But the Chiefs, as long as Mahomes is there, they're going to be fine. I don't know what else they're looking for in free agency, but I mean, hell, they won the AFC last year, and they were average for the most part throughout the year.
The Bills are adding Larry Ogunjobi as well. So they're adding older guys, but effective guys on defense. So they're just kind of retooling that defense.
So with this Titans team, what are the receivers? Yeah, Ridley and Oliver, and now Van Jefferson. That's it.
I guess, yeah.
Don't forget
And then-
Jaquan Jackson. Come on, guys.
Jaquan Jackson, sure.
Is that the guy from Tulane that they fill out a favor because he can't return a punt?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Good.
just would like to point something out. And look, we enjoyed covering Van Jefferson when he was at Ravenwood, and the plays he made there, and then good for him that he's made it in the NFL. His father, Sean, when he was the wide receivers coach here, famously put a jersey on Justin Hunter that said "Jag," just a guy. Unfortunately, that's for the Titans. That's kind of what Van is.
What was the point of just a guy?
Basically, he was trying to motivate him to stand out, be a go-to threat.
What
not
was
be just a guy?
What was the dumb thing Byard and them had, like no ball zone or something?
I don't.
No balls in the air. Like they had a moniker, an acronym for something.
I don't know. I don't focus on balls, so
No, it was something along those lines.
I don't.
That's what she said.
But it was something like no ball fly zone or
Yeah,
something. They were like,
Sure, I'll take your word for it. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
I mean, the Legion of what was
Boom.
the Legion that made me laugh. Right, that was funny when
Look,
the Seahawks
you
did
know
that.
my take on. I think we get a little carried away with nicknames sometimes.
Yeah,
So I mean, I think sometimes there's too much of that. Like Preds fans always want to name a line something. It's like they don't need a name. If they earn one, great, but don't force it.
some of those. What was the Arvidsson line that made me laugh?
Oh, the
Flojo or something. Floby.
Now I forgot what it was.
Did you ever cut your hair with a Floby?
No, we've talked about Flobies before. No,
Okay.
Jofa.
Jofa, yeah. And Ricky would call it something else. Yeah, I don't mind that. Okay.
Quickly answer this. Andrew from Dover, do you think the Titans will go after Cooper Kupp?
No. Why would Cooper Kupp want to come here?
Why would Aaron Rodgers want to come here? I mean, it's the same thing.
Because he's in control.
Yeah, but
Cooper Kupp's going to go someplace where he can kind of that's a Raiders signing.
MMCNB, is that what it
That's it. That's it. My man catch no balls.
was? Yeah.
That's
okay.
it.
All right.
Thank you. Who sent that in?
Cut Dylan 6651.
Thank you. Yeah, that was their big thing. And they would all refer to that in the third person and can't like MMCB or whatever. I was like, what? Just talk.
Broncos D was the no-fly zone.
Okay. All right.
Look, if you earn it, like that's fine, but
Yeah.
don't force it.
I mean, the best defensive name, and if you guys got others, you can weigh in on the Monsters of the Midway.
Yeah, that's
The
good.
Bears in '85 is the best defensive football team, football side of the ball nickname ever. I mean, the Killer Bees were good, the no names, but the Monsters of the Midway.
Coming up next, we'll talk to one of our favorites, John McClain. He doesn't need a nickname. We'll talk to him coming up next. Chase and Big Joe, we're live at the Mellow Mushroom today for the SEC tournament, and all of our SEC tournament coverage is presented by Toyota. Fuel your adrenaline at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places, and also brought to you by Guinness, thenewcumberland.com, Volunteer Hose and Gasket, and Sloan's Motorcycle ATV here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe live at the Mellow Mushroom on Broadway here in beautiful downtown Nashville. It is a sunny and beautiful day for sure, and we're here for the SEC tournament, and looking forward to that as it starts later on today. But right now, we talk to the great John McClain, who joins us. HoustonTexans.com is where you can find his work. John, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, guys. I bet you're going to have fun. I can't wait to watch the SEC and the Big 12 tournaments. I think the Final Four, just my prediction, Houston, Duke, Auburn, and either Florida or Tennessee.
Okay. All right. So you have the Falls possibly in contention there. It's going to be interesting. Vanderbilt opens against Texas in Texas's first SEC tournament. So looking forward to seeing that a little later on today. John,
Go
what's
Vandy.
kind of go Vandy for sure. What has been your takeaway? The Texans have made some trades, but what's kind of been your takeaway with free agency so far?
Well, it's just a whirlwind. The cap went up by almost $25 million. A lot of teams had a lot to spend. There's no reason not to. Several players turned down, like Ronnie Stanley, the left tackle at Baltimore, turned down more money from teams like New England to stay with the Ravens. Somehow he'll have to survive on $20 million a year. And I think it's been great. I'm all for players making money, because if the owners didn't have it, they wouldn't spend it. And owners can cut players anytime they want. So I'm glad players are getting obscene amounts of money. Right now, we're waiting to see where, Aaron Rodgers, the elephant in the free agent room, whether he goes to Pittsburgh. I don't know why money is an issue with Rodgers. Why does he need to negotiate a contract? He's made over $300 million. He's not married. Pittsburgh has a winning record every year, and so he would have a chance to play for Mike Tomlin and a chance to go to the playoffs every year, as opposed to the Giants, who are terrible, with a terrible offensive line, not much of a running game, and a coach and GM destined to be fired after the season.
Well, and I'll say this too about Rodgers and the Steelers. I think he and Arthur Smith would work very well together, not just Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, Arthur's a no-nonsense coach. Anything they do there with their quarterbacks, he's got to sign off on it. Mike Tomlin is not going to say, okay, Arthur, we're going to give you Aaron Rodgers, or we're going to bring back Russell Wilson. And if Arthur goes, no, I don't want him, yes, we're going to give him to you. That's not the way it works. If your offensive coordinator doesn't want a quarterback, you're not getting him. And so one of those guys will be there. I have no idea what Arthur Smith thinks about Russell Wilson, but they didn't make much of an effort to bring him back. And on the other hand, if Rodgers makes a dumb decision and signs with the Giants, then all of a sudden they got to call Russell and go, hey, Russ, we love you now.
Talking to John McClain on the Chase and Big Joe show. John, Chase and I are bantering this about, with the quarterbacks now going off, getting signed here and there. What would that say if the Titans opened 24 with Will Levis or 25 season with Will Levis as their quarterback? Because it's sort of becoming a possibility now. And I just don't know why we would even talk about this, because he was terrible last year.
Well, first of all, as I've told you guys every week, I think they'll draft a quarterback with the first pick, and whether he starts is up to what kind of progress he makes. And unless you take an Anthony Richardson, who does 13 starts at Florida, these guys now, like Cam Ward, he was a 0-star recruit out of a school here, Pearland, in Houston, because they ran like the wing tee or the wishbone, something like that. So he goes to Incarnate Word in San Antonio, and then he goes to Washington State, and all of a sudden he started improving every year. And then Miami got him last year, and he just exploded. It's like Jaden Daniels, started off at Arizona State, went to LSU. There seems to me, besides talent, one of the number one things they're looking at is how many games did you play in college. And the fact that they switched schools, I was told this week on another show by a host that said, well, that's bad for him. I said, no, that's good. they've been exposed to different coaches, different schemes, different situations, different teammates, and if they improved every year, as say Cam Ward did and Shadur Sanders did, that makes them more ready to be able to play in the NFL. We saw it last year. If J.J. McCarthy hadn't blown out his knee, he would have been the starter in Minnesota. So I think if Will Levis is the starter, nobody's going to get fired up about it. But everybody knows it's only a matter of time before Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders is the starter.
I'm with you 100%. If it's Will Levis and Cam Ward, there's no way, John, and to get your thoughts on this, will they sit Cam Ward? I mean, will they throw him to the Wolves if the alternative is Will Levis? If he goes through camp and they prove to him and he proves to them that he can do this and start this and has a grasp of it, I say put him out there, right?
Absolutely, that's what you want to do. It's not like he lacks experience. That was a mistake with Anthony Richardson. I saw his first game here, and he ran for 2 touchdowns, and the Colts beat the Texans in 23. But in most of these cases, you don't throw them to the Wolves so much because they're ready to play. And everything I've heard about both of them has been good as far as what kind of guys they are as leaders with their teammates. So it's nothing like a quarterback. And the higher he's drafted, the better to get fans and media excited, more excited about a season.
John, what's going on in Indianapolis? I mean, there are guys leaving left and right. I know they signed Daniel Jones, but it just seems that's a bad environment now.
It's very strange. Well, I think one reason, a guy like a guard, Will Fries, who was maybe a 7th-round pick, just signed for like $88 million with Minnesota. And I think a lot of people think Chris Ballard, who drafted him, is going to be out this season. If Richardson bombs out again, he'll go down as one of the biggest busts in NFL history. There's a guy that drafted him, Chris Ballard. Even if head coach Shane Steichen pushed him to do it, the GM is still responsible. And Daniel Jones, I guess, goes there. His agents told him that you got a really good chance to play. I thought staying in Minnesota and maybe mentoring J.J. McCarthy, and we have no idea if McCarthy will be ready to go. We know he'll play at some point soon into the season. And it just looks like on a 1-year deal for $14 million, it was a better opportunity to play and see if he can rebound in his career. Remember, Daniel Jones' rookie season, when he was such a high pick, I think like 6th overall, he had 24 touchdown passes, doubled his interceptions, and everybody's, wow, what a pick. This kid's going to be good. And then he got hurt. They failed him because of the team they put on the field, the talent around him, didn't build an offensive line. And that's one thing the Titans are working to build is an offensive line, no matter who their quarterback is. But I think if I were doing a mock draft right now, I would have them taking Cam Ward 1st overall, and he's got great mobility. And you'll need it when you're a rookie starter on a bad team. And I think it'll be incredibly exciting to watch him grow.
We will have more with John McClain. HoustonTexans.com is where you can find his work. We will do that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe live today at Mellow Mushroom on Broadway on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Wednesday, live at the Mellow Mushroom on Broadway, just next to Bridgestone Arena. So come by and see us. Continuing our conversation with John McClain, as we always enjoy these on Wednesdays. So the Titans are supposedly, fixing their offensive line, John, and now going to move J.C. Latham back to right tackle where he played at Alabama. You've seen that over the years of they'll move guys around, but what do you think that does to a young player after you touted him as being, he'll be fine on the left side, now you're going to move him back to the right?
I think considering they have a great offensive line coach, and people may not think that after last season, but Callahan is tried and true, and I guess Latham's more comfortable over there. People think it's easy just to switch back and forth. Maybe it is after you've been in the league a couple of 3 years, but it's different to move back and forth, starting with hand placement, the way you drop. And so if that's what Callahan wants to do, then I have faith in what he's doing. And there's no way their line's not going to be improved. The key is they've got to be good up front to protect their young quarterbacks. And I'm not talking about just the first overall pick, Levis. If he starts as the starter, you don't want those guys to have to run all the time. There was a great example in the Super Bowl with Mahomes getting pressured from as soon as the ball snaps. That's the way most of the season it was with C.J. Stroud. And there have been some other quarterbacks like that. I saw the other day, Geno Smith had 15 interceptions and 14 were thrown under pressure. And so if you can't protect your quarterback, and you're just spinning your wheels until you're able to do it.
Well, is that going to be where the Texans are this year? I mean, who's left to protect C.J. Stroud?
Well, they needed to change their offensive line, especially the interior line, and because they were awful. And we were all surprised when they traded Laramie Tunsil, their left tackle, who's one of the best pass protectors in the league. He's a mediocre run blocker. And Tunsil's deal, 2 times since Bill O'Brien gave up 2 1s and a 2 for him and a couple other nobodies. And in 2019, he solidified the position, and they've won 3 division titles and 3 playoff games. But Tunsil's had 2 contract negotiations, and they've made him the highest paid offensive line in history in both of them. And he's starting to make noise about wanting an extension now with 2 years left on his contract. And he's going to be 32 when his contract expires next season. And teams don't make guys that age the highest paid in history. And so Tunsil, there's these stories coming out here about problems in the locker room and all that. I don't know if there were or there weren't. That's no excuse for being so pathetic up front and having it all turn on C.J. Stroud. So they've still got 2 offensive tackles. I'm sure their first-round pick now is going to be an offensive tackle. There's better value down near the bottom of the first round where they pick than above it. And so they have a new offensive line coach, so he better be a miracle worker.
Oh, absolutely. The great John McClain is on the Chasing Big Joe show today. John, hypothetical for you. What if during this free agency period, no one signs Aaron Rodgers? What does he do then? What happens?
Well, maybe he could appear on Pat McAfee 5 times a week like A.J. Hawk. I mean, who'd you rather have, Aaron Rodgers or A.J. Hawk? And
Probably Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think that there's going to be an issue with that. I'm wondering when his career is finally over, maybe next season when he's 42, what's he going to do? Is he going to drop off the face of the earth? Is he going to hike the Himalayas? Is he going to hang out with some guru or go into the darkness? And because he's a really smart guy and he can be entertaining and he's a good talker, I'd love to see him on a studio show. But I've been wondering about that. What will Aaron Rodgers do? I was sitting next to his family when he was drafted, and they were devastated in New York when his name was called so long. And I remember his sister goes, "Green Bay, where's Green Bay?" And I turned to her and I told her, I said, later today, you'll find out, and you'll get one of the greatest receptions you can imagine in the football capital of the NFL. And she looked at me like I was from another planet. And of course, it worked out quite well. But I do think he will sign, and I think it makes all the sense in the world to sign with the Steelers and work with Arthur Smith.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, John. And I think he doesn't want to be remembered what happened with New York. I mean, if he goes to Pittsburgh and get them in the playoffs, we'll all talk about, hey, he was great in Pittsburgh, great career in Green Bay. Some of these guys, John, I think look at their legacy when they've been shot down and think about, all right, I don't want to go out that way. And good for him if he does. I'd love for him to come here because it'd bring the chaos and be something fun to watch. But Pittsburgh, you're right, is a perfect spot for him. And then with him and Arthur Smith, it'll work out perfectly. So that's good for Aaron if that ends up happening.
I think he needs to come in for the off-season program, which he did with the Jets last year, even though he was not required to. But when he missed the mini camp to go to Egypt and acted like he couldn't get out of it, and I think a guy that makes this kind of money could have afforded to lose some money and change that trip for the good of his team. And he got the reputation of not being a team guy. Well, he's always been a team guy. We never heard his teammates say anything bad about him, even though he's strange. I don't think he's strange behind the scenes. I think he's strange publicly because he just likes people to wonder who he is, what he is, and what's he up to.
John, great stuff as always. We appreciate it. We will talk to you next week.
Guys, you have a lot of fun at the SEC tournament. I can't wait to watch it.
Oh, we will for sure. John McClain joining us here on the program as he does every Wednesday at 9:30. He's been covering the NFL live from Houston for about 50 years, 49 years. Hard to believe that he's been doing that. We will react to some of that and have much more live from the Mellow Mushroom on Broadway in hour number 2. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are live from the Mellow Mushroom on Broadway, just next to Bridgestone Arena. The SEC tournament going to get underway here in just a couple of hours, and really looking forward to that. Vanderbilt will tip off around 2:30 today. Pregame coverage at 2 o'clock here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, as they will take on Texas. And we're excited to be here. We'll be downtown for the rest of the week. And all of our SEC men's basketball tournament coverage is presented by Toyota. Fuel your adrenaline at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And also brought to you by Guinness, thenewcumberland.com, Volunteer Hose and Gasket, and Sloan's Motorcycle and ATV. Let's talk about this. There's been a lot of guys. We're going to preview the SEC tournament in a little bit, but I just saw this tweet from Terry McCormick from Titan Insider. Basically saying that the Titans offered NWI and Nick Westbrook-Akine a comparable offer to what the Dolphins did, but ultimately he decided to go with the Dolphins instead. What does that say about a guy that has been praised, has been steady Eddie? You know, TD called him a Honda Civic, just always reliable.
Right.
That he's like, nah. I'm out. I appreciate you.
All right. So 2 things here. One thing, playing football, you want to make the most money as you can, right?
Sure.
That's your goal is.
He's making $3 million.
Right.
Right.
What's the second goal of being a professional football player?
Winning.
Winning a Super Bowl. Nothing else matters, but winning a Super Bowl. You're gonna get there. Money's the same. You're gonna get there in Nashville or Miami. And I think the answer is very evident. Go where you think you could win. You're getting paid. Go where you think you could win. It is a huge indictment on the Tennessee Titans because it's become the worst franchise in football.
Right.
And tell me it's not, because you have the number 1 pick in the draft. So when you have the number 1 pick in the draft, you have the worst team right now. Right now, they have the worst football team in the National Football League. So I don't blame NWI one bit for going to the Miami Dolphins to pursue a Super Bowl dream. He's a hell of a lot closer, Miami, than he will ever be in Nashville. And I think to a broader point, Chase, you've put this up. We've talked about this a lot, is the apathy here with a lot of Titans fans. Yeah, a lot of them still care, but there's more and more who are like just checking out now. Or it's like, all right, this is it, what's going to happen. And so I think it's a bad thing. I think it's just ran so badly in the last couple of years, it goes down. And now to a further point is you see these ex-Titans guys now signing big deals in the league. Theo Jackson, Overton High School, drafted by the Titans, gave up on him at 22. Looking at you, Mike Vrabel. And now he's become a great player with the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, and I mean, you can kind of decide who you want to blame there, but I mean, Christian Fulton, he just signed a deal with the Chiefs. And I mean, look, he's not a great player, but I mean, he's obviously good enough that the Chiefs wanted him.
Yep.
It kind of goes back to, and I'm curious of how this is going to play in New England, but we always used to laugh and say you could figure out pretty easily who Vrabel liked and who he didn't.
Oh, yes.
And there were guys that they drafted or brought in. You know, Nate Davis was one. Christian Fulton was one. Now, I think he liked Elijah Campbell. Or Elijah.
We all like
Elijah Campbell. He's here somewhere.
Elijah Molden.
Elijah Molden. Thank you. I think he liked him. But, like, there were guys who was the middle linebacker?
Spillane?
No.
Jack Gibbons?
That he didn't like.
Oh, David Long.
Yeah. You know, now they go elsewhere. And, again, they're not all pro, but they're serviceable, and they're getting, you know, other contracts. So, I mean, it's just like, as much as we praise Vrabel, and he deserves some of it, then there's the other times where it's like, well, you let a lot of good guys go just because you didn't like them.
Yeah. It's you're either in or you're out. And so I think he's going to be a disaster in New England. I think he'll take that same attitude up there. And now he's even more empowered because he's got the owner in his back pocket. So, and I just think his way of coaching guys, coaching evolves. You don't coach guys in 25 the way you coach them in 1975.
No.
You don't coach them in 1975 the way you coach them in 1995. We know coaches. We have good friends who are college coaches, pro coaches, high school coaches. They all will tell you that it evolves every 5 to 7 years. How you coach guys.
Okay,
That way's not working for Vrabel in New England. Didn't work here.
let me ask you this: let's say you and I are on a football team, I would say that you and I would have to be coached differently.
Yeah.
Like, do you like a coach getting in your face and kind of being a little bit of an a-hole and pushing you?
I love that.
Right. I don't. And you can call me soft. You can, like, I'm more of a, I need to be motivated differently.
I'm also 18 years older than you.
Right. But I'm saying if we were the same age on the same team, the best coaches learn their players and learn how to coach them. Not, hey, you're going to play for me. I'm going to coach you this way.
Right.
You better
Okay.
like it.
No,
That's what I'm saying. Like Ken Wisenhunt was a
Right.
prime example of he wanted his offense to be run his way, and if you didn't, then you sucked and you never deserved to play in the NFL again. That's why he's not in the NFL anymore.
Okay. I get that. But me,
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to adapt to your players.
but I want to be coached hard. When I was at junior college, my coach hated me, but he knew I had some semblance of little talent
Sure.
and put me out there and play. When I was at Sanford, the same thing. Just I like to be yelled at. I like to be told what I mean, it motivates me. I don't want the coach to be my buddy. I don't want to go to your cookout. I don't want to go play pool with you. You're a coach for a reason. And so coach me hard, but know deep down that you care about me, then I'm fine. I'm good to go. But, you know, when Vrabel's calling these guys out for being wussies, basically not tough enough, what are you going to do? You going to run through a wall for him then? You're not. You're going to get out of here. And these guys are cashing in the National Football League. That's why I think some of this, you should look at John Robinson and say, all right, you know, John, I know it was a disaster for A.J. Brown. I don't blame you for Isaiah Wilson. I blame you for Farley. I think you overreacted on Burks. But other than that, you drafted some players who are still in the league doing that, who could or making a difference. So I'm all about John Robinson for that because it's proving out these guys are playing well in the National Football League.
So, I'm with you. And look, I think, and maybe Brian Callahan is too much the other way than Vrabel was, and that'll ultimately be his downfall. I don't know. I keep looking at him as, unfortunately, he's probably going to be the scapegoat, but
Oh, yeah.
they haven't given him a roster to succeed with. I mean, Rand Carthon didn't, and now Brinker and Borgonzi haven't to this point. And again, all right, I want to make I know you hate it when I do this, but it's the only thing I know to do.
All right.
Barry Trotz was on with Jared yesterday.
Okay.
Barry Trotz has been very open and honest about this is the plan. And Jared, even in a question yesterday, said, you need, like, you've been open about this, but correct me if I'm wrong. Your plan is you're going to build this team around the Mollendikes and, you know, the young guys that we haven't necessarily seen yet. And you've brought in the older players like Stamkos and Marchessault and Shea to try and be competitive and give the fans something to cheer for in the meantime. But the ultimate plan is you're going to build a new core around the young guys. And he goes, yep, that's pretty much it. He's been very open about what the plan is for the Predators. The Titans, on the other hand, you feel like that's kind of the direction they're going, but they're not telling you that. And then they're making all these mediocre, not even less than mediocre moves where you're sitting there going like, holy crap, we're going to suck for the next 3 or 4 years, just like we have been.
Right.
And so I wonder if they took more of that open approach of, guys, you need to understand something. It's going to hurt for a minute, but this is the plan. We're going to go find a young quarterback. It may not be in this draft, but we're going to go find a young quarterback, and then we're going to build around that young quarterback. We're going to go find young receivers. We're going to go find a young running back that can take over for Pollard at some point. We're going to build this offensive line. And it's like you kind of are having to guess, is that what they're trying to do? And then the other part of it is, the difference is the ownership of the Predators, they're on board with it. They're like, yeah, hey, we got it. Like, you missed this year. That's okay. We understand what the plan is.
And they miss bad.
Right. But we know what the ultimate plan is, and we're going to be patient to that. Whereas Amy Adams Strunk has not been patient at all.
No, there's nothing. No, I see what you're saying, and I get that. But go back to Brian Callahan for a second. I mean, he's gone. If you go back to the season with Mac Jones and Cam Ward, Brian Callen's not here in January.
No.
So at what point does he go in and say, what the hell are you doing to me? You expect me to succeed with the guys you're bringing in here? Do you expect me to do this? He's not going to be here after January. If they get Mac Jones and Cam Ward, Brian Callen's not going to be here. And you know the plan.
Dude, he's going to be gone
forward.
in November.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing.
Gone.
If that happens, and you've been very outspoken on him, but if we come on the show on a Monday, let's say after Thanksgiving, and we say Brian Callahan's been let go, can you honestly come on these airwaves, look into that camera, and say he was given a fair chance in his 2 years here? I can't.
No, you're right.
Whether he's been in over his head at times or made bad decisions, whatever, that comes with the territory of a young coach. I can't sit here at this point and say he was given a fair opportunity.
No, you're right. No, you're exactly right.
And if I'm another coach, now you can make the connections to Mike McCarthy and bringing him in or whatever. But if I'm another coach kind of looking around and saying, hey, like, there's an opening there, I'm going to look at the Titans and go, man, they didn't give Brian a fair shake. What makes me think they're going to give me a fair
if you
shake?
got Cam Ward, you're like, well, Cam's already had a year in here. Now he knows what's going in the league. Now I'm good to go. When you're breaking a new quarterback in, it's not fair to Callahan at all.
Yeah.
I just don't – if they don't sign somebody, is it Russell Wilson, Mac Jones, Aaron? I mean, who knows?
Right.
But right now there's one quarterback on the roster, and Will Levis.
Yeah, that's it.
So you draft Cam Ward, but I'm telling you, Cam Ward's going to start for you in September, and they're going to see, throw him to the wolves, see what happens, get that experience out there, and I don't blame him. Paying him money, I don't blame him. Get out there, but you got to surround him with somebody. You got to surround him with somebody.
So there's a text on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, 615-737-1025, and Mike, we'll get to your call coming up next too. Carson texted in, Big Joe, let's play a game. Comparing two quarterbacks' first two seasons in the NFL. He doesn't give the quarterbacks. I'm kind of curious about this.
Okay.
I'll read the stat going into the break, and you think about it, and then he'll tell us who they are.
All right.
Player 1, 19 games, 16 starts, 5-11 record, went 144 of 434, 2796, that's the yards, 15 touches, 12 interceptions.
Okay. Was this last year?
First two seasons in the NFL.
Oh, okay.
Player 2, 15 games, 15 starts, 8-7, 176 for 340 of 348, 2391, 11 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Now I'm curious of who these two players are.
I need a time frame. Is this Joe Namath, Johnny Unitas? Is this
He just says
80s, 90s,
first-
2000s?
First two seasons in the NFL is all he says.
Okay.
But he's listening. He'll answer some of those.
All right.
We'll do that. Much more coming up next. Chasing Big Joe. Again, we are live today at the Mellow Mushroom on Broadway for the SEC tournament. Also, Vanderbilt will take on Texas this afternoon, the 12 versus the 13. Pre-game at 2 o'clock. Tip-off at 2:30. You can listen right here on 102.5 The Game or on the Game Nashville app and thegamenashville.com. And all of our SEC tournament coverage is presented by Toyota. Today through Friday, presented by Toyota. Fuel your adrenaline at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Also brought to you by Guinness, thenewcumberland.com, Volunteer Hose and Gasket, and Sloan's Motorcycle ATV. Is this your song to Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I mean, listen to the words. Aaron, if you're listening, I will play this for you and I'll dance for you.
Do you think that I know who this is?
Yes.
Savage Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're smart.
90s.
Yeah.
90s.
But the beginning of the beginning, like
Yeah.
the kicks in and
Oh, yeah.
it's a good band. And they,
Dr. Crane, had you ever heard that song?
I don't believe so, but I've heard of the band. I've heard of the group.
Okay.
well, that song came out in 97. And
They
what
had-
year were you born?
I was born in '98.
Yeah, there you go.
The song is older
They
than
had,
me.
they had two good songs.
Yes.
Truly, Madly, Deeply, and then I Want You. I think
Yep,
is
that's it.
Yeah. Since 2007 is what Carson said on those quarterbacks. So we'll get back to that. I want to say this real quick, off subject, but I meant to do this at the beginning and I kind of forgot. So you know how Facebook will do like your Facebook memories,
Yeah, which is
tell you-
awful.
tell you things? I couldn't believe this when I read this morning. 11 years ago today really changed my life.
Oh, that's right. It's on my Facebook too.
I became the executive producer of the Greg Pogue and Big Joe show.
And I'm proud of you because now you're the boss and you've done so great. But could you have started with two worse people than Greg Pogue and myself? I'm being honest. Guys
I
who don't
mean-
conform, who don't
Nope.
never put out a grid,
Nope.
and are just better at the world.
But it was funny. Like I worked with you guys. I was with George, Willie, and Darren before that, and then obviously spent a lot of time with Darren and Derek, and then Willie again, and before moving to on the air. But it was like you were with me. I was with you guys through the being told by somebody that wasn't qualified to do it that I wasn't good enough to do this, like, and be on the air and all that stuff. And I just kept working.
Right. That's right.
And you guys kept telling me, keep working.
That's
You
it.
know, forget what anybody says, keep working. And so we had fun. Got in trouble a couple times.
We did. But you never quit. And that's
No.
what I tell everybody. Don't quit. And you never quit. And you showed up every day and you worked hard. You asked questions. You kept going on. You showed initiative, which 88% of the people today don't show initiative.
Nope.
So you kept going on. And now 11 years later, you're the boss. And you earned every step of the way. You did not parachute in like, all right, here you go. So for Greg and I, it's kind of proud because you're like, you know, it was like 2 men and a baby. And you were like our little baby. And you grew up. But I'm telling you, I mean, you started and, you know, and Darren and Willie and George are professionals and they're great. But you started literally with two disasters in Greg and myself. I mean, the day Greg comes in the studio and he's sick and he's thrown up in the bathroom and his gallbladder's going out on him. And I don't know what's going on there. I mean, all the stuff we went, but on the air, we never quit.
No.
We never showed that card, that hand. So good for you.
My favorite, people always ask me like what one of my favorite moments is. It's one where we got in trouble, but we were reading the was it the top 40 SNL?
Oh, yes.
Because it was the 40th anniversary of SNL.
That's right.
And you were reading off like the top skits, or Greg was reading off the top skits, and he didn't censor himself on one about
Justin-
a box.
Justin Timberlake one, right?
Yeah, and we just we couldn't stop laughing. We lost it, and we had a little meeting about that afterwards.
And I got in trouble for laughing.
yeah, well, so did I. So
Yeah, that's right.
it's okay.
That's like, you know, and he just went over it. But this is going to turn to like a Greg Pogue thing. But for those of Greg, you love him. But man,
Yeah.
it was such an adventure with him.
The best part was the one before it was Jane, you ignorant bleep,
Yes.
and he did censor himself.
right. He did do
And
that.
then he goes, number 3, bleep in a box.
Oh.
Somebody didn't say bleep.
And we had some fun moments. I mean, we had Kevin Durant on the show. He had no idea where he was.
Nope.
Kevin Durant was awful. And so once we realized he had no idea what he was doing, we just doubled down on him. And it was a great moment in radio. But the other one was when we had Alan Bestwick was on the show from NASCAR.
Yeah.
And he was irritated with us. He didn't want to be there. And then when it was over with, Greg's like, hey, Alan, thanks. And so Alan, in the middle of Greg saying goodbye, slams the phone down, but misses the receiver. So it's this disaster going on there. He's trying to hang the phone up and he's grumbling. I'm laughing so hard because I was like, this guy don't want to be here to do that. So that made me laugh. And then one more was we had Hannah Storm on from ESPN. Yeah. We asked 2 questions in a 16-minute interview. 2 questions in 16 minutes. Well, I just sat back and
to be fair, that was also coffee with the coach.
Yeah, right. So it was a good time. But congratulations, Chaser. Well done, buddy.
Thank you. Dr. Gray just texts us. It says y'all are talking about him like he's dead, and I said he has been for years.
Greg, if you're listening, call in right now because we know you're listening on your way into your little thing that you do every day. So it was fun. We had a good time, but I'm glad you saw that, Chase.
Yeah.
I'm glad you saw how it should be done with Darren, Willie, and George, and I saw how you could get in trouble with Greg and myself.
Oh, yeah. Consultant's dream right there. Let's go to Mike, who wants to weigh in on Cam Ward. Mike's been waiting patiently. Welcome in.
Hey, guys. Hey, I can remember that show and laughing my butt off consistently. So, hey, Joe, you're always
Turn, weren't you?
I appreciate it. Yeah, I was around.
Yeah, that's right. You survived.
Yeah, right.
Who was this?
So,
Mike. He was one of our interns.
Which Mike? What were you? I mean, do I remember you?
He had yes, you would remember. He's had a couple of stints with us.
We went to school together. Me and you most recently met up at the Murfreesboro ticket meet and greet at what was the name of the bar?
Bourbon Bowl. Bourbon. Well, you're Mike Lynch.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna see your name on there. I don't care. Yeah. Hey, Mike. What's going on, man?
Hey, guys, doing great. Hey, so so you guys just a minute ago were talking about how ultimately the Titans are going to screw up this quarterback decision again, and it led me to think. How many offensive coordinators did Marcus Mariota have when he was a quarterback coach? Same thing with Jake Locker. And I'm trying to think back, so the only quarterback the Titans have ever, developed and actually had work out is Steve. And I'm starting to think to myself, the model that we have in place has screwed every single quarterback that we've had brought in since then. What makes us think that Cam would do really any different? We're going to be in the same boat where we're going to have this guy go out there, trot out there, play a full season, get murdered, and then come in with a new coach, a new OC, rinse and repeat, and we're going to be right back in the same boat 3 to 4 years. So, I mean, am I crazy to think that, this has been the same deja vu we've had for almost, are we looking at, I'm trying to remember when Locker, we're 15 years? Is this how long it's been going on, the nightmare?
No, Locker was the quarterback,
12 through 14.
Yeah.
So 12 through
14 years ago.
So Mike, you make a good point. Hold on, Mike, you got Mariota in 15, had Wisenhunt, and then he got fired. Then they put Jason Michael in there as the OC. That's 2. Then in 16, I'm talking about just coordinators. In 16, he had wouldn't Rubisky take over from then?
Yep.
And then 18, he had Matt LaFleur. That's 4. Then he had Arthur Smith, became 5. So he had 5 offensive coordinators in the 5 seasons he had here. And the problem is, Mike, is that offensive coordinators move on. They get the jobs quickly, and they're gone. They're out of here. But you are so right. If Cam Ward comes here, thrown to the wolves, Callan gets fired, we're back a year from now, we're doing the same thing.
Yeah, and the head coach is, the same thing. I feel like we've almost, Marcus Mariota, I'm not saying that he was the perfect quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, but imagine if he could have got consistency out of one coach for a couple of years in a row, with no abrupt changes or whatnot, things might have been different. I don't know. But I mean, I just don't have any trust or faith that this organization can train and develop a MVP caliber quarterback. I think we should just take Abdul Carter and try to trade and hope that something else down the pipe works better for us.
I don't think you're alone on that. Thanks for the call, Mike. Always appreciate
it. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Yeah. He makes some really good points.
Yep.
And I laugh when people are like, bring Marcus back.
Oh, stop it.
Didn't we see enough of that? I mean,
just stop it. Yeah, I mean, no, it's not going to work.
Look, at this point, whoever you're bringing in is quote unquote competing. But I still sign up. If they announce they've signed Jameis Winston to a 2-year deal,
I'm on.
But they're going to draft Ward, and he never needs to sniff the field.
Stop saying that because he's going to. They're not,
I know he's going to.
They're not sitting in.
I'm still going to say it. I'm going to keep beating the drum until one of these days they actually listen to me on that because it works. Look at Green Bay. Green Bay's done it twice.
You think Amy Adams is going to sit a quarterback for 2 years?
No, but she's dumb if she doesn't. It works.
She's not.
It worked in her organization.
It's worked almost throughout history.
Right. Just like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't care. You have to understand. Yeah, they're going to get paid. They're going to sit for a year, whatever. It works. Just do it.
I'm with you. We laughed the other day, remember, about Rich Gannon, about when I said he was with the Vikings
Yeah.
for 6 years.
Yeah.
You're like, what? No. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
And so, no, I'm with you, man.
I
I'm
mean-
totally with you.
Chad Brinker came from an organization where they've done it twice.
Right. But that's not the way the fan base wants. They'll be like, put Cam. It's about the now. And I don't blame them. It's about the now.
Who was it that said, if you keep listening to the fans, you're going to sit with the fans?
Is that Floyd?
It might have been.
I don't know.
I don't know. A few people have said that, but it's the truth. We're live today at Mellow Mushroom on Broadway. We're going to be a lot of different places this week for SEC watch parties from 9 until 6 o'clock today. Then tomorrow we're at Assembly Food Hall, which is just across Broadway. Then we're at the Pub in the Gulch on Friday. So check out thegamenashville.com/events for more information on that. On-site coverage of the SEC tournament is presented by Toyota. Fuel your adrenaline at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Also brought to you by Guinness, thenewcumberland.com, Volunteer Hose and Gasket, and Sloan's Motorcycle ATV. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Wednesday at the Mellow Mushroom on Broadway. Excited to be here and to hang out as well. And we'll be, like I said, all over downtown. We do have the quarterbacks that were mentioned.
Okay.
From Carson. Player one, and again, I'll give you the stats again real quick. 19 games, 16 starts. This is their first 2 seasons in the NFL. 5-11, 144 or 434, 2796. That's their yards. 15 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Player two, 15 games, 15 starts, 8-7 record, 176 of 348, 2391, 11 touches, 13 interceptions. Player one, Jamarcus Russell.
Okay.
Player two, Anthony Richardson. Y'all were talking about AR being a bust and Indy giving up on him, so I thought I would compare the stats between the two.
No, we didn't. This was John McClain talked about that.
Yeah.
But Anthony Richardson,
Look, I was never high on him coming out of Florida.
no, he was a combine warrior that they loved. Now, Jamarcus Russell. God,
Yeah.
At LSU, I saw him beat Tennessee in 2006. He was a damn good college quarterback. There's a reason they took him number one. Now, the work ethic wasn't there, and he was there partly under Saban and Les Miles at LSU, but his offensive coordinator the entire time that Jamarcus Russell was there was Jimbo Fisher.
Right.
So he had the continuity. And I was told, not from many people, Jimbo rode his ass every day, was so hard on him and everything else. Then he goes to the Raiders. Who was the Raiders coach at draft? Was that Kiffin?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think so.
Because Kiffin replaced Bill Callahan, right? Am I wrong on this?
No.
Was there a bridge in between Kiffin?
Didn't Art Shell come back?
Maybe. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were a few.
But Russell had talent. He just didn't want to work. And that was the problem. So I think Anthony Richards got talent, but he just never proved that he's a good quarterback. You saw that going back to Florida. But thank you for the stat there, buddy. Also, we're looking over. The gates are about to open. The doors at Bridgestone Arena. There's a ton of people out there. 80% of the people, you can guess which college they're rooting for.
A lot of blue.
There's a lot of blue. A little red over there.
See a little red mixed in, which could be like 4 teams.
Yeah, but God bless you, Kentucky fans, man.
See some orange already.
I
Orange
wish
and
I
white.
was that loyal on a program or anything, but Kentucky fans here in full numbers
See some
already.
yellow. Is that Missouri? But a lot of blue.
Maybe Vanderbilt, buddy.
Nah, it's not that. It's not that type of gold.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, bud. So no new news. No new news
No new knees either.
on the Titans front. They signed Van Jefferson this morning, former Ravenwood product. Is coming back home on a 1-year deal with the Titans. Chase reported earlier, was it Terry McCormick that had this out there about NWI had the kind of a comparable deal with the Titans and chose the Dolphins?
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't either. You gotta. It's more stable. I don't know how stable. I mean, I think they've underachieved quite a bit, and the quarterback can't stay healthy.
Isn't that more fun though?
But it's a lot more stable, to go there. Now they're in a position where, we loved Mike McDaniel on this show. They're in a position where it's time to, get it done or get out. Like they got to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
no
they
doubt.
have to do something.
And they showed a little at the end of last year, a little momentum going in doing this. Let me ask you this. 1993 is when the real big free agency period started. Who's the greatest free agent signing you think of all time in the last 32 seasons?
Who's the what?
Greatest free agent signing
Like of any team?
overall, NFL. Who's the best free agent signing ever?
Brady and Tampa Bay.
You missed. That's number 2, but you're missing one who changed everything.
Peyton Manning in Denver.
Nope.
I don't know.
Reggie White.
Yeah. Okay.
Leaving the Eagles at the end, you watch the documentary
Green Bay.
about him. It's not like Green Bay came in out of left field, and then it really turned everything around because Favre had just been there or just got there. Sterling Sharp was rolling. and then Reggie White came there, and of course they went to 2 Super Bowls.
It was
Won one.
it was a necessary thing that it created more parity for sure.
Yeah, but he left a very how and why the Eagles did not win a Super Bowl from like 86 to like 92 or 93. I know the Giants won 2 in that time. I know the Redskins won 1. The 49ers were good. But the Eagles were, Jerome Brown and Reggie White and Seth Joyner. And I'm leaving so many guys out.
Was Jerome Brown the one that died in the car wreck?
Yes, he was. He was so good.
Randall Cunningham.
It's just
and then Chris Carter.
Carter. Yeah. And then Buddy Ryan cut him.
Yep.
And Chris Carter says Buddy Ryan saved his life.
Yep.
Because he had such a bad drinking problem. But that's the thing that goes on there. So, you of course you want that splash that happens. But so far today, it's kind of quiet on the Titans front.
It is, except for Van Jefferson. And look, we like to point out, when these guys have Middle Tennessee connections and played high school football here. So that's obviously cool to see. Coming up next, we'll tell you what day it is. Also do a quick preview of the SEC tournament and celebrity birthdays. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Joe 1025, 1063, the game. We're live today at Mellow Mushroom on Broadway. The SEC tournament will get underway a little over an hour. Things will be going. They're about to, I think they're opening. The doors look like they're open. The sea of blue and maybe a little other colors starting to work their way in. But come by Mellow Mushroom and see us. We're here all day till 6 o'clock. They have drink specials, $5 Miller High Life, $5 Sangria, and Dulce Vita Tequila. And all week long, if you have an SEC tournament ticket, you'll get 10% off your bill. So check that out here at Mellow Mushroom on Broadway. Here's what we got on tap for today with the SEC tournament. Game number 1 at noon will be Arkansas, the 9 seed, against South Carolina, who is the 16 seed. And then after that, around 2:30, Vanderbilt takes on Texas, a 12 and a 13. Tonight, the night session, Mississippi State, the 10 seed, LSU, the 15 at 6. And then after that, the 11 seed Georgia against 14 Oklahoma. Tomorrow, the winner of game 1 will take on Ole Miss at noon, who's an 8 seed. The winner of Vandy, Texas will take on Texas A&M after that. Then the night session, the winner of LSU, Mississippi State will take on Missouri. And the winner of Oklahoma, Georgia will take on Kentucky. So
Full day.
Tennessee, Florida, and Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, and Alabama all have the double bye and won't play until Friday.
Well earned.
Yep. So that's how it goes here at the SEC tournament. But we're excited to be downtown and in the mix. And all of our coverage is presented by Toyota. Fuel your adrenaline at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Also brought to you by Guinness, thenewcumberland.com, Volunteer Hose and Gasket, and Sloan's Motorcycle ATV. With that, let's do something. Let's get to celebrity birthdays. It is presented by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards, the only company you need for commercial construction services. Visit them at jarrettcompanies.com.
All right, gentlemen. First on the list, we have Girl Scout Day. So shout out to the Girl Scouts and the Girl Scout cookies. Tag-alongs are phenomenal. National Alfred Hitchcock Day is today. National Baked Scallops Day. Not a scallops guy.
Yummy.
National Milky Way Day. Delicious candy. Let's see. National Plant a Flower Day. Yeah, plant a flower. National Working Moms Day. Shout out to the moms.
Hell yeah.
National No Smoking Day. That's celebrated in the United Kingdom. Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day. So there's that. And to wrap it up, we have World Day Against Cyber Censorship. So, all right.
Okay.
Look, man, we don't need United Kingdom days because we kicked their butt back in 76. So we just need
1976?
All right. Got that, Dr.
1776.
77.
Noted going forward.
Also, you'll eat Milky Ways but not baked scallops?
Yeah, why not? Milky Ways are delicious. The caramel glaze inside, it's delicious.
Okay. All right. Got you there, buddy. All right.
Scallops are a little iffy. Maybe with pasta.
Hey, man, you had your time to talk.
Sorry.
All right, time for celebrity birthdays. Got to get these within 2. We'll start on the sports side of things today.
Oh, you're good.
Since we're down here at the beautiful Mellow Mushroom. I mean, I'm telling you,
It's a perfect view.
it is beautiful and it's perfect. Thank you, Lance, for setting this up. This is wonderful. All right, our first birthday today.
Can't wait till you're here.
How old is Johnny Rutherford? Former IndyCar driver,
Yeah.
Johnny Rutherford.
81.
80.
89. Next up, my favorite baseball player of all time, the greatest baseball player of all time, Dale Murphy.
65.
68.
69.
Nice.
Well done there, Nick. Next, man, he was so good to watch, and now he's living for the Lord. Darryl Strawberry.
64.
65.
63. We're tied at 1. Then former Major League pitcher, baseball player Steve Finley. I believe he was on the 01 Diamondbacks team that won the World Series. Great left-handed pitcher.
56.
59.
60, except 2-1. ESPN broadcaster Steve Levy, big hockey guy.
Yeah. Buddy with Pete Weber. 61.
58.
60. We're tied at 2. If you've watched NBA back in the 90s, you love this guy from the T-Wolves. JR, Isaiah Ryder, was a great basketball player to have in a fantasy basketball league.
65.
63.
54. Casey Mears.
Race car driver?
Yep.
45.
40.
47. Chase up 3-2. He grew up down there in Marshall County, played for Alabama. Mike Vrabel just fired him. Dante Hightower.
47.
38.
35. 47.
Oh,
Dante Hightower.
sorry.
All right, now we get to the celebrities. Liza Minnelli. How old is Liza Minnelli today? And a bonus point, which you don't get, you tell me who her mom was.
I don't know who her mom was. 67.
60.
79. Dr. Craig, did you know who Liza Minnelli's mother was?
I don't.
Do you even know who Liza Minnelli is?
No, all I hear is Milli Vanilli when you say that.
Her mom was Judy Garland from The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's 3-2. Chase. Next up, James Taylor. How old is James Taylor today?
77.
78.
77, dead on. The great actor Aaron Eckhart. He was in Brockovich. He was also in Sully.
Was in the
Batman, right? Two-Face.
yeah, he was Two-Face.
Two-Face. Aaron Eckhart.
56.
50.
57. Chase up 6-2. So, Nick, all you can do now is tie if Chase doesn't get these next two.
Perfect.
Marlon Jackson of the Jackson 5. How old is Marlon Jackson?
73.
74.
68. And our last birthday, fitting that we're on Broadway because her granddad and her dad are legends. Holly Williams. How old is Holly Williams?
44.
58.
At the buzzer, Chase McCabe. She is 44 years old. Well done, Chase. You got two right today. I mean, two all dead on.
Thank you. That is going to do it for us, but don't worry. We're going to be here all day. Adam is here ready to go. DVD is up next, and then you can hear Vanderbilt on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jared will be here as well. You can come watch the game, hang out here if you're not going to the game. But we're excited to be downtown all week and appreciate all these great places for having us. And also, of course, Toyota, our presenting sponsor, Guinness, thenewcumberland.com, Volunteer Hose and Gasket, and Sloan's Motorcycle ATV.
Yeah, and come up here to Mellow Mushroom. It's right next to the arena. Great food, great view. Man, it's beautiful today. And that's the message today to our guys out there. If you are struggling again today, we always talk about how you can call or text 988. Somebody's always there to talk to you, and we always tell you to please talk to somebody. But today, if you can, get outside. Walk for 30 minutes, walk around, breathe the fresh air. This is a beautiful day that God has given us. Let's take advantage of it. We're always here for you. We know that we love you guys, and to keep going forward. We talked earlier about Chase's career, never quitting, never quit. And we need you here. Our world is a better place because you are here. Know that we love you. More importantly, more than anything else, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD next, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.